Hello there, I'm David Icke, and today I want to show you a really easy way to outline a new story. I'm going to outline a story for you here in just a moment, but here's the gimmick. I don't really know what the story's about yet. So what I've got here is I've got a random generator that's going to give me a problem and a couple of elements that go with a certain genre of story. So let's see what it gives me. So this is a superhero story. This should be fun. And here's the problem. Enlisting wholeheartedly in the service of a needy unfortunate and conferring aid of the utmost value. That's a mouthful, but I think we can work with that. A couple of the elements we're going to work with here. A forbidden tome destined to awaken a slumbering evil, and a minion secretly plotting the betrayal of his master. This sounds like fun. So, I'm going to copy this. And let's paste it over here into my notes. Sorry, a lot of this is going to be you watching me type. So I'll try and make it interesting. All right. So what is our desire? The first thing you need in any story is a desire. This is a superhero, and he's enlisting wholeheartedly in the service of a needy unfortunate and conferring aid of the utmost value. Well, that's just ready-made for a superhero story. So clearly there's someone in trouble, and our hero is saving that person's life. So let's write our desire. Save a life. So our character is a superhero. Clearly he needs to be a superhero of some sort. I don't know what his power is yet. That's going to come out, I think, as we work through the outline. Now we have an opposing force. Now one of our elements is a minion who's secretly plotting against his master. So clearly we need a master. So there's some supervillain and his minions. And they're trying to awaken a slumbering evil. So we want to start with the end in mind. So let's jump back to the resolution at the very end. And I usually like to write happy stories, so the evil is going to stay slumbering. Evil stays slumbering. Villain is betrayed by his minion. Superhero overcomes and saves the life of the innocent. That sounds like a good resolution to a superhero story. From the resolution, we need to move back to the hook. So I'm thinking that the hook is that someone is in trouble, and it's going to have something to do with this forbidden tome. So there's going to be trouble at the museum, let's say. That's a good place to keep a forbidden tome, right? So there's trouble at the museum. Our hero investigates and finds the supervillain at work, menacing hundreds of innocents. All right. This is all shaping up to be a pretty stock superhero plot so far. Let's see what we can do next. So after the hook, we want to jump to the midpoint. So the midpoint is when we move our hero from reacting to what's gone before with the hook and the trouble that's entered his life. He's going from reacting to taking action. So we know how it begins, we know how it ends. So what's going to be the transition point here? Okay, I think that the minion is going to be our help here. So let's say that this minion of the supervillain somehow gets a message to our hero. The betraying minion gets a secret message to our hero, giving him information on the next step in the villain's plan. And so now our hero doesn't have to keep reacting. He has a piece of vital information that he can use to take the fight to the enemy. So that's our midpoint. What's our first twist? If this is a new villain that our hero has never encountered before, perhaps the first twist could be revealing this villain's powers. So the villain reveals his powers to the hero, endangering innocent lives. And again, I don't know yet what his powers are, either the hero or the villain. Right now we're just shaping out the story. The particulars don't matter too much. It's more just finding the shape of the story first, and then we can backfill the particulars. And, when we get to the particulars, it might change the shape of the story some, and that's fine. This is just a first pass, and none of this needs to be set in stone. So I'm sure if I were to start writing the story, once I finished outlining it, this outline would change significantly between the version that you're seeing take shape now and then the shape of the final story. So again, this is just a roadmap to kind of show us where we want the story to go, but the actual writing could take a very different direction once we get on the ground and seeing what the characters are actually like. So we've got our first twist. We're going to move to the big setback at the end. So our hero has taken the fight to the enemy, but he's missing some crucial piece of information, and the villain has something up his sleeve that the hero didn't know about. So the hero's going to take it in the neck bad, as Lester Dent likes to say. And this is where he gets captured by the villain or something like that. So let's just go with the obvious one. Superhero. Our hero is captured by the villain, and what the hell, he's going to be used as some kind of sacrifice in the effort to awaken the slumbering evil. Sacrifice in the ceremony to awaken the slumbering evil. Okay, so that's our setback. So the resolution, we can say a little more about that now. Hero uses his powers, perhaps with the help of the secretly allied minion, to escape and interrupt the ceremony. Okay, so we've got our setback. We know a little more about the resolution. Now, from our setback, we need to go to the first pinch point. And you can see why we're going out of order here, I think. As you work out the details of the end and the beginning and then the middle, it's easier to work through the twists and the setbacks and the pinch points when you have an idea of where you're going. If you don't know where you're going, it's hard to know how to get a twist that takes you there. And so that's why we do it in this order. So our first pinch point, our villain's revealed his powers. He's endangered innocent lives. And now this one's pretty obvious. Our hero battles the villain and saves the innocent lives. Pretty simple. From there, we're going to go to the second pinch point. So now our hero has secret information about the villain and his plan. So the villain has he's stolen the tome from the museum, and maybe we can also say villain escapes with tome while hero distracted, saving lives. That's a pretty straightforward trope in superheroes, because the hero is limited by his need to save innocent lives, whereas the villain has no compunctions on the matter, so he can endanger people and then run off while the hero is trying to save them. So, again, back at the second pinch point, our hero is going to ambush the villain in his lair. Villain at his lair using the information from the minion. They do battle. And we'll have more fun superhero battle sorts of things, everybody using their powers. But because of the information that he doesn't have, he's captured and so on. And that right there, I think, is a pretty good outline for a superhero story. It's probably a little bit standard. Again, at this stage in the planning, we're really just, I mean, it really is paint by numbers at this point, because it's such a rough picture of the story. But you can see how you could start writing this, and as you get into it, as you start to get to know the characters better, more would suggest itself, and you can make it more interesting as you get into the particulars of the hero and his powers, and the villain and his powers and his real goals, and what this tome is all about, and what the secret minion, betraying minion, is up to. So don't worry if your outline looks kind of generic like this does, because you're really just going for the most general plot outline here. And again, it's just the roadmap. And once you get into the particulars, that's where it's going to get interesting, and you're going to end up with a story that really grabs your reader by the throat. But you need this structure. You need this shape to really get a story that's going to be effective and will grab that reader. So it's a combination of the structure and then the characters and their actions that really makes for an engaging story. So that is our outline for the day. Please let me know what you think about all of this. Especially, I'm curious to know, what do you find hardest about writing? What gives you pause as you look at this outline process? Let me know in the comments down below while you're down there. Be sure to, if you enjoyed this video, to like, subscribe, and share with your friends, anybody else who might be interested in it. And if you find this process helpful, I do have a book that walks you through this process that I am walking you through here, but it walks you through in greater detail, and goes beyond that into the actual writing and the editing and all the other parts of the process that go into writing a short story. The book is short, it's really effective in leading you through the process, and you could have a story by the end of the day if you really worked at it. So that's our video for today, and I will see you next time.